Spot Barbecue.
And I'm Giggle Klutz.
And today we're talking about
Minecraft!
If you don't know what Minecraft is, which would greatly surprise me, it is a 3D block-based survival game where there's a really large focus on crafting, building, and, well, mining, because it's Minecraft. Guys, did you know the game's called Minecraft?
I was aware that the game is called Minecraft.
Huh,
Yeah.
I was wondering why you guys were saying Minecraft a little bit ago, actually.
Minecraft. I'm having a Stanley moment. Okay, anyway.
But the first build was released in 2009 by Mojang Studios, and it's...
They're out of Sweden, right?
Yeah, they are out of Stockholm, Sweden.
So, how did we get into Minecraft?
That is indeed a very, very good question, because we got into it pretty early. I wouldn't say it like the first year. We kind of got into it in the second year. We got into it in 2010, and I know I personally only really understood what the game was when it was put in front of me, but you know, there'd been a tiny bit of buzz on the internet, perhaps YouTube videos, and we collectively as a family, we found out because a friend of ours had actually introduced us to the game, and we immediately went home and bought it. It left that much of an impression.
And yeah, so that was a long time ago. For context, at that time, you still, most of the time, if you wanted to buy a video game, you went to a store and you bought a physical CD that started the process of doing the video game on your computer. Buying things online like that was not normal at that time. At least not for us. Maybe it was for some other people who were better connected than we were. But we had punitive internet at the time, so downloading things was difficult. We just upgraded from dial-up, I do believe. We lived in a very rural area at that time, so we were one of the last holdouts. We had to upgrade to satellite off of dial-up. Yeah, you guys are so spoiled now, I can't even. It just... by comparison to what we used to have to put up with. But I know the game's changed a lot. But when I started playing the game, and I really got into it right away, I was into it just as much as you guys, I think. At first, maybe more. Because it was the mom of the family that actually showed us the game. The kids were into it, but the mom of this family was like, nah, look at this cool stuff. She was building the Mines of Moria. I mean, it's like, it was intense, and I was impressed, and so I would play in what I'm told is... Peaceful mode. I'm like, it's not creative mode, because I didn't want to use, like, the world as a palette, but I didn't want to fight monsters. Because at that time I got really scared by everything and would flail and just not have any fun if I thought somebody was out to get me.
That is a big mood.
It is, especially for me at the time.
And of course, it's like, yeah, the game didn't actually have a creative mode at the time. That was added much later.
I mean, they tried to make it, but you couldn't, like, actually access it yet, I'm pretty sure. I actually looked into that when I was doing research. I was just like, when was creative mode added? And it, like, they had it, they took it out, they refined it, and they put it back in.
Okay.
Point is, when we got into it, you'd need a mod of some kind for creative stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that was beyond my pay grade. I did not understand. I knew how to do settings in the game itself, and I did. And... let's put it this way. Let's see, what was it? When I started, there was no such thing as even powered minecart track. At that time, you could build a minecart, and then you put a little cart behind it that had this little stove thing in the back, and you could feed it coal, and it would push your minecart up the track until it ran out of coal. And then, and track was just new at that time. Track was just a new thing, and minecarts were a new thing that they were trying to do.
I think stairs were also a new thing at this time.
I don't know if there were stairs. Oh, yeah, there was...
I forget if stairs were added, but at this point, I know that they were new.
Gosh. I don't remember. I didn't use stairs much. I just built, normal steps built into landscape,
Yeah,
block type stairs, not built stairs.
I never used stairs as stairs. I only ever used stairs as chairs.
Okay.
And roofs.
Yeah, see, I wasn't into decorating, never been into decorating.
Yeah, some stairs for chairs.
Mm-hmm. That's a technique that's still used to this day.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this stuff to be hipstery. I'm just saying this to preface, to say that I was into Minecraft a really long time ago. Then I got out of it, and I was under a rock. Now, I poked my head back out in 2019 for a tiny little bit, and then I haven't played again. So there's a whole lot about Minecraft that I don't understand, though I have an absolute basic understanding of what the worlds are like, about how you move through the world and the kinds of things that at least you used to do. And I'd be happy to talk about my first world if you guys would like to hear about it.
Oh, yes. I think we should all talk about our first world/worlds.
Yeah, our first accomplishments and interesting things that we did. And yeah, so at that point also, there's a crafting book now?
Yes, there is a crafting book now, but back then you kind of had to just discover the crafting recipes yourself or hear that they were patched in.
You just have a little grid that you could plant items into, and it would spit something out if you got the combination right.
It was kind of like playing Doodle God.
Yeah.
In Minecraft, you just start throwing stuff on the crafting table and maybe something would appear, and it was really cool, and if you happen to come across a recipe, then you share it with all your friends the next time you got together. And, it's like, hey guys, guess what? I built a helmet! It's really cool! How'd you do that? And then you'd go like this, and you'd show people how it would work, and...
Yeah, it took me forever to figure out how to make boots, because I kept trying to make a boot shape, but really you need to make 2 boots.
Right. and it's fine. I don't even remember how to make armor and stuff, and I don't know that... yeah, of course I did. Of course I did. Steve's gotta wear something, right?
Well, I mean, it does help with fall damage in lava, so...
Really?
At least it used to back then.
I have no idea. All I know is I got really into railroads, and I just, in peaceful mode, would explore, and then they came out with this new cool thing called Powered Track, and I went to town, and I went nuts, and I made this elevated railway that was, I think, around a little over 3 kilometers long. And, it went all over my world. It went up a mountain, down into a mine, and it started in my home, which was this valley that had these hills, and then this flat spot in the middle, and it kind of had this concave section of a mountain that I dug out even more, and I dug my house behind it, and I made a big glass wall, so it was like you had this big humongous window in my living room, and then my mine was back behind that. And then I took the rest of the valley and I dumped lava falls all over it, so at night the whole thing would glow with lava fall light, and I'd sit there and watch the sunsets, and then the lava falls would be there, and it'd be so cool. And then at that time, pigs would spawn in the light of the lava, and then they would roast themselves in my lava falls, and in the morning I would go and collect all the spoils of the pigs that killed themselves. And the other things that the pigs used to be able to do is, as I rode on my minecart around places, they used to be able to push you out of your cart. So sometimes, if my railroad was level with the ground surrounding, or beneath a little bit, because I didn't, build it up, if I kept it level, just because I wanted to, the pigs would come along, kick you out of your minecart, so you'd be, wait a second, and then the pig would ride off on your train. And so, but I love to sit in my railroad and ride and, and just enjoy the view as I watched my Minecraft world roll by. And then the other big feature I did is, after a while, when I got to the desert, I used all that sand and made a humongous glass pyramid, and I poured lava over the top of that too, and I had the railroad go through the middle of the glass pyramid under the lava-covered pyramid. And then that was right around the time the game actually released in its full version, its initial full release.
Yep,
after
full
being
version.
Right. After being beta. And then wolves were released in that one. And I got myself a pet wolf, and he lived inside the glass pyramid. So there's the story of my Minecraft world. I don't think I remember any much else about it other than that. Those are the things I spent all of my time doing. Digging up stuff in my mind, in my little valley, behind my glass-walled living room. So I could watch pigs kill themselves in the lava falls because, the good times.
Like, I remember starting my Minecraft world, right? I remember starting it with monsters on. And I was saying to myself, like, I can do this. I can do this. I made it through one night, and then I stepped outside, right? And I see this skeleton who has managed to survive daylight by being in this waterfall. And he just kept shooting me until I died before I could, like, really move outside my house. So I just turned the monsters off as a kind of a rage quit moment. Because I couldn't handle one skelly boy.
Oh, how times have changed.
Yeah, because nowadays I play on hard mode, and, like, it's a whole thing. But back in this day, I had an obsession with obsidian. It was a fairly recent thing at this time where if you let water touch lava, it turns to obsidian. And I thought it was really cool because, it's a black rock. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to build an entire house out of this. So instead of using buckets to move the lava in place, what I did was I just mined a whole bunch down at the bottom of the world, one by one, each one taking 15 seconds to mine, meaning I get 4 a minute to build my house on the surface. And it had a basement, it had a ground floor, and it had an attic, all made out of obsidian with glass staircases. And that thing took forever.
You were obsessed. Yes.
I was.
And I countless deaths by lava in that process, and you didn't even swear at that point, so there wasn't a lot of swearing, but there was a lot of frustration and angry screams.
Yep. There was a time where I would make sure I couldn't die by lava by making sure I mined while standing in water, and just let it push me forward, and the water would then make sure that all lava around where I just mined was immediately turned into obsidian as well, and so I had this down to, like, a science and art, which is utterly ridiculous considering, like, I recreated the end product to, like, see what it actually looked like, see kind of what my building skills were like at the time, and I'm just like, oh my god, I lived in this? I lived in a building that looked like this. Oh my god. Do you want to talk about your first world?
So basically what happened in the beginning of my Minecraft journey, my experience was like, I ended up like just kind of, not really knowing what I was doing, and then nightfall happened, and I, tried to make myself a shelter, not knowing even slightly what that needed to entail to survive, and died in the most signature Minecraft way, which is being blown up by a creeper.
I remember you telling me that you got shot.
I mean, the explosion kind of sounded like gunshots, and a creature that blew itself up was, like, not an idea I had considered at the time, especially since I couldn't see it. It came from behind.
Creepers.
So yeah, after that, like, I don't know how long that world lasted. Same with the, sequence of, like, hundreds of other ones that came after that, but one of the most interesting things I can remember doing in that era of Minecraft was, like, I built a ship, a pirate ship kind of thing.
Cool.
And I also remember in that same world, I stripped all the grass off of an island. And then I was like, why did I do that? It was better when it had grass on it, so I tried to move it back.
Because this was actually before Silk Touch. Silk Touch is an enchantment that allows you to pick up stuff like grass and leaves using that tool.
Enchanted tools were unprecedented at the time.
Yeah, I'm like, I still haven't really ever done enchantments. I stopped playing before they added experience points. So, sure.
I mean, were you still playing when they added hunger?
I don't. They were. I think I was still playing when there were Endermen. So I don't know.
There was definitely hunger at that point, but since you played on peaceful,
it wouldn't
have applied. Your hunger is always full.
Yeah.
No, the very least does not drain.
Right. It's there, but it doesn't do anything.
Yep. And of course you can still die, but, like, it's hard. So, of course, getting in this early, we got to see a lot of changes happen, because this is one of the first games that really, really made use of the early access platform. And as such, it was constantly changing, like, every couple weeks, sometimes daily, depending on how they were feeling.
Secret Friday updates.
Right. Which was just bizarre to me, and it was hard to explain to kids sometimes, that because before that, if you bought a game, it was the game. It did not change. You know, it's like, this is the way it is. That's like a book. If you buy the book, it doesn't just, like, update itself and change on you. It is what it is. And I mean, yes, there are editions that change, but you have to buy the new one before that happens. It doesn't just update your old one or say that the old one is this thing. And I know they're updates now too, but that was nothing I'd ever experienced with video game before, and it was just bizarre. What do you mean you're going to take away things? That was the big thing. The additions were okay, but the removals was quite a leap. That was tricky. That was a new thing. And I think we're still kind of feeling that, especially us older folk. The internet now is retracting, you know, as it's becoming more and more corporate. Corporate doesn't want to... I'm thinking about the internet in general. It used to be the internet was created and it's going to live forever and everything you do is going to stay there. And now more and more of it is disappearing. And that's weird to me.
Well, yeah. I remember hearing that, like, the rose was removed from Minecraft, which is the little red flower. They replaced it with a poppy because it makes more sense, and then added a rose bush, which also makes more sense. But there was something about the classic rose that made me feel, you know, very sad.
Yeah.
Like, it was dumb, but it was Minecraft.
And it's easy to get attached to the virtual landscape where you found yourself comfortable. And then when you're immersed like that, it's kind of like someone shifted your reality on you without your consent. And it's an interesting thing I had never even contemplated before Minecraft. You know, you guys were not the only kids I hung out with at that time, and you know, some of them are even more resistant to change than you guys are, and It was interesting to have conversations with parents and children about how we're handling the feelings that come up when all of these changes would happen. And this is long before they were doing things like teaching Minecraft in schools. You know, it's like, nobody knew that it was going to blow up. It was this indie thing that you had to download from the website. I mean, only people I knew that played it were, computer geeks and their kids, and then it swept through homeschooling communities.
Yeah, because, just little groups of people just sharing it with each other, and it just kept spreading and spreading and spreading. And until, it was a little bit too big to ignore.
It blew up pretty quick. I mean, it went from us being one of the few people we knew who played it to everyone in our circles playing it.
Like, almost overnight, it feels like. It just goes from people messing around in a survival world to, hey, we're building the Starship Enterprise, would you like to join?
Right. You didn't have anybody building things quite like that. But...
No, but that was the landscape of it, like, on YouTube and such.
Yeah, it was a time of great change, and, yeah.
So, because the game is always changing, a lot of stuff has changed in the past decade, and I'm kind of the only one of us who's, consistently playing the game now. So, I thought I would compile a list of things that have changed since you guys have left. And I think one of the more minor things that has changed is that the composer, C418, is no longer working with Minecraft. He's actually moved on to do music for Cookie Clicker.
All right, now I'm all excited for your cookie clicker episode when that comes on eventually. Because it is on our list of some days. And we do have a significant list of some days.
Moving from Minecraft to cookie clicker, it's like, somebody's moving up in the world.
I don't know, is it up or is it a lateral movement?
Maybe at the time it was. I don't know. Minecraft became such a phenomenon. I don't think that that's a move up.
Yeah, honestly. I think he just didn't want his name to be entirely tied to Minecraft forever. But you know who took his place? Lena Raine, the person who did Celeste's soundtrack. So she's made some of the most iconic songs in recent memory, including Pig Step, which is a song I can't play on stream because it's copyright claimed, but most of the stuff that you encounter just playing through the game is fine, and it slaps.
Yeah, we could probably put a link in the blog.
Yeah, like she made all the new unique Nether music because there's a bunch of new tracks for that.
And that is one thing that was really nice about Minecraft the whole time along. In fact, to get in the mood for these episodes, we play music from the games to really put our brain back what it's like, because we never are able to create an episode directly after playing the games because we have too much of a backlog of material. And we need to continue to play games. We're not giving them up just to wait for you guys. No.
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 Yeah. So that's the first topic. And the next one is levels and enchanting. So what they did was they made it that whenever you kill a mob, smelt an item, or mine an ore, you get experience points. And these experience points show up in a little bar at the bottom, and every time it fills up, the number goes up. These levels are effectively points that you can spend to enchant. The best ones start at level 30.
Does this turn Minecraft into an RPG?
The experience is, like, I mean, this is kind of the case in a lot of RPGs, but it is very much a currency in Minecraft to do enchanting.
Yeah,
Like,
so...
Okay.
You use it to essentially level up your stuff.
Oh, rather than yourself.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
so for example, if I was level 30 and I enchanted something, I would go down to level 27.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is basically your bank account.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
And then you lose levels when you die.
Death
so-
tax.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha.
But of course, levels can be very easily farmed if you just set up a whole bunch of mobs spawning in one particular area and just slash them to pieces from a safe distance. So it's, like, generally, after a point, getting levels is, like, no big deal.
I've seen you and your monstrous contraptions.
Yeah. For context, I did make a zombie piglin farm, and those things are absurd, so I'll link one to Ilmango's farm on the blog.
Did you say zombie penguin?
No, zombie piglin, because they used to be called zombie pigmen, but when they updated the Nether, they wanted to make it more than just an upright pig, so they made them piglins.
Okay.
So they are different. They're still pig people, but they're more unique pig people. I actually have that on the list here under the mob section, so I can get back to that later.
All right, continue.
So they've also added potion brewing. Through some equipment you can get in the Nether, you can make potions, and these potions, you can drink them for a one-time buff, such as strength, health, night vision, and you can also put debuffs on them, and then put those debuffs onto arrows and shoot them at your enemies. So you can make them slow, or weak, or just direct damage, and the system is extremely complicated.
Which is why I never got into it. I peeked over your shoulder a few times when you're doing stuff, and I'm just like, no thank you. I miss old-fashioned Minecraft where I'm just, I'm thinking around by myself and, setting pigs on fire and...
Yeah, and with, potion arrows, you can do all kinds of fun stuff, like, put fire resistance on your flame bow.
Yes, you can do that. I don't know why you would do that, but you can.
This is Minecraft. You can do all kinds of dumb things.
I mean, and you can actually shoot your allies with that, but again, why?
To teach them a lesson.
Then again, if you do have a weak bow and you shoot yourself with regeneration arrows, I imagine you could get a net gain of health. Actually doing that consistently, though, is probably a little ridiculous.
Alright, continue with your list. What have we missed?
Diamond is no longer the best gear. The best equipment in the game is netherite. You mine 4 pieces from the nether, combine it with gold, and then smith it onto diamond equipment to get netherite equipment.
Okay, but you still have to do diamonds to... keeps diamonds valuable because you gotta start with a diamond base.
Yeah, you cannot mine netherite without diamond.
You cannot make netherite gear without diamond to put it on.
Mm-hmm. So, a netherite pick can mine a lot of blocks. Like, I think more than double a diamond pickaxe can. Oh, right, one thing that I didn't cover in enchanting is there is actually an enchantment called mending. So you could make a netherite pick, for example, and put mending on it. Then whenever you get experience points while holding the tool, the experience will instead repair your tool, making it infinite, so long as you continue to repair it. And this way you can actually form a bond with your tools, and this can be especially heartbreaking on a couple times that I have died and lost my tools. Notably, netherite tools are fireproof, so they won't burn in lava, but you can still lose them in other ways. In fact, that's one of the biggest perks with netherite gear, is it does make you slightly fireproof.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then we get into the new mobs. I decided to pick a couple noteworthy ones, and one of them was piglins. So there are zombie piglins, which I talked about, but there's also non-zombified ones.
Yeah, I think, it's important to note that the term mob just refers essentially to creature, not like a group of creatures or anything that may imply.
Yeah. Right, because that is kind of specific to Minecraft. I mean, when people talk about it.
I mean, it was actually a term as old as Doom, but that was largely just in the code.
Right, that's what I mean. It's like, that's when people who played the game started talking about, that was developer and programmer and game maker talk versus game player talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Minecraft definitely popularized it as something that more people would use. I know that Terraria community also uses mob.
Well, yeah, because those are kind of overlap. That kind of happened not simultaneously, but pretty close. The genesis of both of those realms were pretty close in the timeline, weren't they?
Yeah. With Terraria definitely coming after, but we can talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
That's a whole other discussion.
Terraria is a separate can filled with eldritch worms.
Absolutely. I mean, that one I can contribute almost nothing. I've got one very bad story, and that's it.
I mean, it's a good story, but...
Save the story for the Terraria episode.
All right. So the piglins are nether-dwelling people who will attack you if you aren't wearing gold, and you can trade them gold for rare items. They'll just take the gold and be like, huh, and then just throw something at you.
What a weird reaction to bling.
Yeah.
I just... Okay.
Yeah, it's very different from the villagers and how they trade. And plus, while villagers will run away from you if you attack them, piglins will swarm you if you hit one of them. It creates a very interesting dichotomy.
Yeah, that's like becoming an angry mob of angry mobs.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Next mob on the list we have the Guardian. These guard underwater ruins that you can find, and they attack by firing lasers, and if you punch them, you'll hurt yourself on their spikes.
Cyclops laser pufferfish.
Yep. Yes.
With long tails.
Yeah. They're...
Okay, you might have to show me this later. 'Cause I'm like,
yeah.
okay.
And they actually come in a sort of mini-boss form called an Elder Guardian, and this thing provides a debuff where you will mine blocks slower, meaning you can't really easily cheese the structure.
Okay.
You have to kill it before you can loot its home.
Yeah. And I do appreciate these things existing because it does really spice up the oceans, which are very, very large today. So it's always interesting to see one of those in the distance. Now here, we're also going to get to a very, very popular new mob. The Warden. The Warden is a mob intended to be a hazard and not fought. It's summoned when you make too much noise in a biome called the Deep Dark, which is at the bottom of the world. Rarely at the bottom of the world. And once summoned and alerted to your presence, the Warden can easily one-shot you, unless you have endgame equipment. And they can fire sonic blasts from, like, a tear in their chest.
So they're Dragonborn? Or Draugr?
Oh my god, they actually have these little antennae that kind of look like the horns on the helmet.
Yeah, they're Draugr. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have a meme for this episode. Let's fucking go. But it's actually blind, so it can only hear and smell you.
Oh, so it's a Falmer Draugr. Okay.
Sorry.
Guess who plays a lot more Skyrim than Minecraft? Anyway. Well, I don't even do that right either, so we'll get to that later as well.
Aside from all these things, one of the things that makes the Warden also pretty unique is it's one of the few mobs that will actively hunt other hostile mobs. So if it hears something else, and it doesn't have a player anywhere in its radius, it will go and attack it. So it'll kill creepers, skeletons, zombies, anything, aside from other Wardens.
But it is, well, of course, it's only active when your section of your world is awake, right? Which means there's a player there.
Yeah. And they'll only spawn from player-created sounds, like if you jump a lot or run.
So in other words, you can throw mobs under the bus for being too loud.
So, well, you have to trip it 3 times and then unleash it, and then if you were to hide, for example, then yeah, you could use it as a killing device. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You're making it more complicated than it needs to be. It's like, I'm gonna hide under my bed. Mom's gonna punish you.
I will say that's not a very effective killing mechanism for, like, a farm, but it is definitely one you can use.
Yeah, you're feeling particularly sadistic at the moment. Just go nuts.
Woo! And I wanted to include one more mob, just one final mob. Frogs! There are frogs in the game! Woohoo! Sagbot loves frogs.
Yeah. I'm a frog guy.
But they are passive to players, but they will hunt and eat slimes, because there are the only insects in the game are too big for them. And by insects, I actually mean arachnids, because they're spiders. Wait.
Bees?
Oh, bees. Oh my god. I'm holding a bee.
Holding a bee plushie. A Minecraft bee plushie in her lap as she says this. And we're looking at her like...
they can't eat bees. They eat slimes, they don't eat bugs. I don't know why. But
that's fine. You don't have to know why. It's video game logic. TM.
But they live there. They live in swamps, lay their eggs in water, and you can use a bucket to pick up the tadpoles and move them around wherever you want them.
I love this.
And depending on where you raise these tadpoles, the adult frogs will be a different color. They can be green, orange, or white. Now, one of the very weird things about frogs is if you take them to the nether and let them eat the nether version of slimes called magma cubes, they will drop a block called a frog light, and it's a light source that comes in different colors.
So there's glowing frog poop if you let them eat those kind of slimes?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. I love my frog poop lamp. It's my favorite.
Behold, magical frog shit.
Woohoo!
I thought you guys would like that.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Alright. So, that's your list of mobs.
That's my list of mobs. Then there's the building and decorating version. Building has come a long way from the cobblestone castles and glass palaces of Minecraft Alpha. In no particular order, here is a non-exhaustive list of blocks that were added after 1.0. Prismarine, its dark and brick variants, 6 kinds of coral, their dead variants, raw metal blocks, mud in its packed and brick versions, packed ice, blue ice, calcite, basalt in its polished and smooth variants, black stone in its brick, smooth, and chiseled variants, deep slate in its smooth, cobbled, brick, chiseled, and tile variants, copper in 4 stages of aging, cut copper in its 4 stages of aging, and wax versions of copper, console, smithing tables, diorite, andesite, granite, and polished forms of 3, purple, amber, and red sand, red sandstone in its chiseled variant, quartz in its brick, smooth, and colored varieties, pine, obsidian, red, red, sea lantern, like frog legs, and 3 colors, ore and deep slate varieties, brickstone, dirt paths, pale gilded, black stone, glass targets, lead stone, wood, puff, board, and work, lantern, honey, honey, beehives, gold, lightning, glowberries, sweet berries, lilies, moss, varieties, amethyst, black rivers, and lecterns.
I'm sorry, I zoned out there.
That was kind of the point.
I know. It's just like, I don't know if I ever want to play Minecraft again. It's like, I'm like, I don't want to get a degree. Not in that. I got other things to think about and to do.
Oh, my head.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, somebody's been busy.
Yeah, I spent like half an hour compiling that list, and I'm actually not done.
I was actually talking about the developers, but that's fine. You be you. No, you don't have to. Nobody needs to know all that. They will believe you. Just say that, and much more. But,
well, it's more of just like these blocks can be dyed in 1 of 16 colors, and then all the wood types.
Yeah. Wood. Yeah, because when I was playing, there was one kind of wood. Actually, there were 2, I think. There was like a hardwood and a softwood kind of
oak
wood.
and birch.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Or yeah.
There's like wooden logs that came in multiple varieties, but they'd all make the same planks. And at some point, they changed that.
Yep.
Right. Because there were several different kinds of trees, but once you made anything out of the wood, it was all the same.
Yep, and now every single kind of wood has its own skin, except for beds.
Okay.
If you're making it a plank, shouldn't you take the bark off?
Well, you can do that. You can make stripped logs.
Well, I mean, why would all the wood planks have their own skin?
Okay. I hate this.
You're welcome.
Somebody's looking at me, looking at the microphone, just all It's like I got a real big grin on his face. He's laughing.
Don't draw attention to it. You're making it worse.
I'm making it funnier.
Don't break each other. It's just. We have an episode to record here. Anyways.
Well, then we come to the final item I have. 2 truths and a lie.
Oh boy. Okay. I was warned that this was going to happen. Alright.
Okay, which one of these is fake? Buried treasure. If you find a shipwreck or underwater ruins, you can loot them to find a map. This map will lead you to a beach where you can dig up a chest containing rare materials which can be crafted to allow you to breathe underwater. Cougars. Added to spice up mountain ranges, cougars are neutral mobs, only attacking back if provoked, and otherwise hunting mountain goats. They naturally avoid deep snow and can allow players to more easily spot hazardous terrain. Or, Ravagers. Villagers have a hostile variant called Pillagers who can start raids on your villages. When they do, they can bring many forces, most notably in my opinion, is the Ravager, which is a giant creature that looks like if a rhino had a villager's face.
Okay, so how is the answering of this going to go down?
You go ahead and say do you know the answer already?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know the answer for sure, but I thought I was already exposed to treasure maps. So I think the treasure map... 2 truths and a lie. Okay.
2 truths and a lie.
I think that the cougars are the lie. Because I'm sorry, a cat neutral mob just doesn't sound right in Minecraft for some reason. I mean, a large cat. I think they definitely would just freaking eat you.
Well, you see, it's like I was into Minecraft, at least watching videos about it, much more recently, and there was actually, they were getting fan submissions as to what to name the Ravager in the first place.
So, I'm right!
Yes, although... Minecraft actually has this thing where they don't allow any hostile mobs to be real-world creatures. So anything that can attack you is neutral, and they have conditions to attack you. Like wolves and polar bears, but cougars are not real.
Okay.
Mountain goats are.
Okay.
So I thought, just in case you guys knew that goats were in the game, I thought maybe playing off of that and saying that cougars were also in the game could lead you astray. It did not. But yes, Ravagers are giant bulls that kind of look like a cross between a rhinoceros and a person. And they are weird.
Everything about villagers is weird. Yeah,
They're a bunch of unisex people with giant noses.
Okay.
And an affinity for emeralds.
It's like if the game needed to just have a generic model for people, I'm gonna commend them for still being distinct with it. Mm-hmm. Gives a vibe that not a lot of developers would go for.
Yeah, they're definitely not human. I'll give them that. But that's the end of my document. There's a lot more that's been added to the game, clearly, but these are what I wanted to talk about.
Okay. We didn't even bring up the dragon.
Oh, yeah, the dragon. Yeah, that exists. And the wither exists.
It's like they gave Minecraft a final boss.
Okay.
Literally in a dimension called the End.
And I remember when they did that, I just wasn't playing at the time, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to get into what the end fight is. It's like, it's a boss fight. Blah, 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 blah.
It's like there is a final boss fight, and that's what makes it noteworthy.
Yep.
When there didn't used to be one. That definitely makes it noteworthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, up until launch, it was just totally open-ended, and like the game doesn't stop when you beat the final boss, so it's like it's still open-ended. It just has the end in it.
Yep, it has the end, and it has a credit sequence that features a really, really long poem. Speaking of poems, though, you did actually write one.
I did, but I want you to talk about what you were doing, and then, all the weird stuff that you do now in Minecraft, including what I wrote the poem about, because I was so mind blown by the absurdity that video game logic is, and Minecraft specifically exists. I don't know, for a poet, I'm losing my words, but...
So basically, I was on this server, and there was a shopping district, so I made myself a terracotta shop, but because people were living in the mesa, where all the terracotta is, I didn't want to dig it up. So what I did was I got a bunch of villagers to trade with, and when I'm talking about a bunch of villagers, I mean I had like 200 villagers, most of which were masons, who would give me terracotta. And, so I had the parents in this box. They would produce a child. The child would run toward these beds, which it could see and thought they could reach, but instead fell into a hole, which transported them to a location where I could have them slaughtered by a zombie, then revive them, so that way they would see me as their savior and discount their prices. Then I would put them in a box where they would just trade forever.
Yes. I got to watch her tell me this story about how she's forcing people to breed basically at gunpoint so she can kidnap their children, have them killed by zombies. She can resurrect them and make them slaves so that she can sell randos every single version of terracotta available in the game at once. And I was moved.
As somebody does when they have empathy.
Alright, and so I was so moved, I wrote this poem about the whole thing. And I called it Cube Game Out of Context. With lovely horrified nostalgia, I miss your terracotta shop. The digital process of using absurd language for situations lead to fantastical thought experiments that turn the stomach and remain gleeful just the same. What? As I create a trap for villagers that usually releases them before they drown, wait for them to get hungry so I can lure them into the tiny shop so they can't escape. Digital situation applied to human effect. Morals leave questions of extension of empathy. Do avatars feel pain or boredom or desire? And it's just a game. Still, even the most extrapolated imaging elicits emotional empathetic response. Still, slave labor underground vault of colorful blocks was beautiful, and I miss it. There we go.
We can put the full version on the blog if you want to read it.
I can do that.
And it's like I don't play on that server anymore. That's why there's something to be missed.
Right. It was absurd, but it was also beautiful. It was beautiful to walk down those halls and see all those different versions of terracotta that were just available right there, and know the immense effort that you had put forth both into just building that shop and building that mob grinder in wherever was that the Nether? Building that mob grinder in the Nether, and just these humongous gigantic machines, to rejoin a game that I played a long time ago, to see that my daughter can basically from memory build a gigantic contraption. I mean, like, just this gargantuan contraption that houses people inside it when they want to visit, and, like, this whole storage system, and, she's building a warehouse and all the mechanics that go with it. And it's just like, I'm mind-boggled. I'm wandering around, watching her wander around, because I'm not playing, I'm watching her and show me this stuff that she's done. And I just, that was my homage to, both the absurdity of video game logic and about how we have to detach ourselves from our natural human empathy and our natural human tendency to anthropomorphize even inanimate or, digital objects and people in ways that, don't really match up with reality. I don't know. I'm getting sidetracked here, but that's what that was all about.
So, before we start to wind down, I want to say, is there anything about what you've heard of new Minecraft that you find particularly interesting?
Man, they're still finding new stuff to put in that game.
I don't know. Just hearing all that just makes me feel overwhelmed and old. I'm gonna be honest. It's like, I'm like, young people feel like hipsters when they did stuff a really long time ago. The rest of us, I mean, not that I feel old, but I'm recognizing that I am. It's hard to explain the difference. But all my life, people have assumed that I'm a lot younger than I am because I kind of have a youthful attitude about everything, and I can keep my youthful attitude somewhat, but I'm also letting myself now at this point in my life start to actually just feel old and be old. I'm like, oh gosh, I don't think I'm ever going to understand that or ever want to swim in that pool again. It's like there's at some point the draw of the things that used to feed you, like certain kinds of adrenaline, just now that you understand the risk you're taking on your your sense of responsibility, and that your body doesn't heal the way it used to, and those kind of things make the risk to reward ratio quite different than it used to be. And I'm not talking about Minecraft being a risky proposition, but it is one that takes a lot of intellectual and spoons. It does take, it's like, how much energy do I have to learn how to play a video game that I'm not necessarily going to play all that much when I have a million other games to play that don't have that learning curve anymore. It's like, do I really want to relearn how to do this? How much of a grind is it going to expect of me, and how much mental energy do I have to put forth towards that? So it's like, as much as I love the idea of Minecraft, and I might want to play, knowing me, I'm just going to go back into default habits and still do the same old dumb things I used to do. Like, I probably would immediately make another railroad.
And you know what? That's the great thing about Minecraft, is everybody plays it in their own unique way. And I think the only thing that you would probably need to change about your play style, aside from maybe how you construct ladders, is you're going to need so much more storage space because there's just so many more items in the game.
Sounds like from what you were even showing me this morning, it sounds like they've made that a lot easier to do and to sort and all those kind of things than it used to be.
Only if you use, shulker boxes are an item you get in the end. They are a drop from a hostile mob.
So you have to go through the dragon to get them. You technically don't have to, but you basically have to.
I mean, they're hostile mobs, so they won't spawn in peaceful
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, so you have to fight monsters in order to get that.
I'm making a face. But anyway, it's just, I don't mind having a million chests, too. Again, speaking to my my ancient video game knowledge, it's not really, but back when I used to play Diablo 1, there was this storage problem there, too, where the only way to keep a whole bunch of loot, well, the easiest way to keep a whole bunch of loot was to just lay it on the ground in town. Because nobody will pick it up in town and it doesn't disappear. So basically the entire area outside the church where you start can become your chest. So there would be a whole field of gold coins and weapons and crap that I didn't want to carry around laying there. And then if you died, it would still be up on top and you could just pick it up and still use it. So
this sounds like it could become a lag issue.
It wasn't that much. I didn't grind that hard. I didn't love Diablo to the ends of the earth and back. I mean, maybe the bottom of the earth and back, but not the ends of the earth and back.
The fact that you're not disputing the lag part.
That game didn't really cause lag. So many other things do now, and I don't know. It's just not a thing I thought about negotiating with video games at the time. Now I do. Like, everything causes lag now, but I think we're all playing on laptops, so, I think that's part of the issue. I don't know. I'm not the techno person. I'm a user of technology, not an abuser. Yeah, probably. I'm probably abusing my technology. Let's not get into that. I don't want technology to come after me. Anyway. I'm sorry, I'm cracking myself up.
Well, now that we are suitably distanced from Minecraft, I guess we can talk about what games we've been playing this week.
2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, that's definitely a number that is more accurate.
Well, go. Why don't you start?
So, one of my viewers got me a game, and I actually don't remember what it's called. So let me open up my Steam quick so I could take a look at that.
Well, that's not the only game you've been playing. Talk about something else while you look that up.
Well, on Tiny Game Tuesday, I played a game called Stars Die, and it's a cosmic horror game with no scares in it. So that was kind of fun to play.
I misheard you. I thought you said stairs rather than scares.
There's no stairs either. I'll have you know. They're both accurate, but
okay.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting in the way that it delivered lore and stuff, and there was there's a lot of lore, but it just doesn't tell you a lot of it.
Okay.
But I found it fun, and it has a really nice art style and a cool place to explore. And the other game I was playing, I think is pronounced Necess?
Sure.
We'll call it Necess, and it's kind of like a top-down Terraria. But instead of having a bunch of shopkeepers, you can have your people living in your settlements automate stuff for you. And it's been really fun to just play casually in my off time, because there's just a lot of mindless tweaks to make it more optimal and just really fun to explore as well.
Zachbot, what you been playing?
Yeah, I mean, I've booted up Terraria several times recently, but
because you're working on a texture pack.
Yeah, just testing stuff to see what the heck it actually looks like in game.
Has there been any disasters?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. So, Giggleklutz, what have you been playing?
Oh, jeez. I was on YouTube thinking that I wanted to watch an analysis video about Little Misfortune, and maybe find a video where I could have somebody else do the endings, so I didn't have to play through it a bunch of times to get to them. And the first thing they talk about was a game called Frambeau. And so I'm like, oh, shoot, do I have to do that before I can watch the video? And then I fell down, and then I got sick. And while I was sick, I fell down a rabbit hole. And now I've 100%ed Frambeau, and I've watched a bunch of videos about both that and Little Misfortune. I've read a whole ton of the wiki. Someday there will probably be an episode about all that. And but before that, I played a little game called Castle Full of Cats and got hung up in the arcade mode of there, and now I broke number 100 on the leaderboard, which was a goal of mine, and I haven't really done much Limbo because the game still frustrates the crap out of me. I've been playing a spattering of Skyrim like I do when I don't know what else to do or I don't want to think about stuff. I don't know. That's gaming for me. I think that's what I've been gaming.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, I didn't mention, like, all the games I've been playing.
I know, that's what I was trying to get. I was trying to get a running tally for us so people could have some idea of what we spend our time doing. I know. It's like,
okay.
I'm watching Honeyshuckle, and, like, her eyes are like a matrix board of a leaderboard of, like, game after game after game.
Okay. So aside from Necess and... Oh god, what was the other game I even said? Stars Die. I've also played Tori 3D and Tori 2. These games are 3D platforming games where you play as a duck trying to get back your ice cream from death. It's adorable and weird, and I love it. I've also played Minecraft. I play it like every Friday right now in my life. I've also played Pokemon Violet, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Splatoon 3, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, an idle game called Increlution. I played a little bit of a bullet hell called The Void Rains Upon Her Heart. Oh god, I've been playing an idle game called Leaf Blower Revolution. Please, oh my god, this is so many.
That's not. I wanted highlights, not an exhaustive list. I'm not listing out my exhaustive list. There are things I don't tell people. You can have some shame. It's okay. I was just, it's like, this is what I've been doing.
Okay, then I guess the highlight is Splatoon 3 Fresh Season is out, and I've been playing it quite a bit.
There we go.
With all of that, I'm Honeyshuckleex. You can find me under that name on Twitch and on YouTube.
I'm tired. But my name is Aquat Barbecue. I'm, also tired.
And he also does the music.
And the sound editing for us.
Yep.
He's our tired resident sound guy. Aww. And I'm Giggleklutz. I am lacking mistress of the blog, and resident poet, and
all around cool person.
If you say so. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. This has been Collab Not Multiplayer. Goodbye.
Bye.